boring guy.
He's too serious.
I mean, it's just, look.
Like, let one of your buttons loose on the top of your plaid shirt and just loosen up a bit. And have some fun.
And who is clamoring for the Todd father?
Yeah,
I don't like Todd Frazier. I'm sorry. He's boring, too.
Oh, man. You know what I miss? Back. Gone. Chris Berman on the home run derby. So, give it to me.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed by the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallant.
95.7 The Game. Breaking news.
Oh, Mike Garafolo, NFL Network. Breaking news. All-Pro wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk has officially requested a trade after an all-season of unsuccessful attempts to reach an extension. Despite a recent meeting, the Niners haven't been willing to engage in negotiations since May, so Aiyuk has respectfully asked out. That's right. It's Mike Garafolo, right? Not Mike Garafolo? Garafolo, excuse me. My bad, Mike Garafolo. Mike Garafolo of NFL Network has just reported that 49ers All-Pro wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk has officially requested a trade after an all-season of unsuccessful attempts to reach an extension. Despite a recent meeting, the Niners haven't been willing to engage in negotiations since May, so Aiyuk has respectfully asked out. You know what, Jackson? It's crazy. This is insane. First of all, 888-957-9570. Niner fans, how you feel right now? Come talk to us. You know who to talk to when it comes to this situation. And that's why I love this shit, Shasky, because we get breaking news. You imagine if we was on the morning roast, we would have been off the air. Irate, just like when Jimmy Garoppolo, when the Niners traded for the number 3 overall pick that year when they drafted Trey Lance. Anyway, we talked before the show, and I said, Shasky, I borderline want to see the Niners play without Brandon Aiyuk. And you were asking me why. And I said, I'll wait to tell you why. I will save it for the airwaves, because I want you to get in on this. I just want to see how great Shanahan is. I want to see how great Brock Purdy is. I want to see them like, okay, maybe they don't need Brandon Aiyuk. But now Brandon Aiyuk is like, yo, I want out. A week before training camp, as rookies report today, down in Santa Clara, the Ricky Pearsalls of the world, Brandon Aiyuk has officially requested a trade, Shasky. Your thoughts?
The first thing that comes to mind is this, and it's not even about Brandon Aiyuk. It's actually about the quarterback. And the reason why I bring up the quarterback is all of their accounting is because they think they have to pay this guy $60 million next year. And so this is the first domino of the pieces that are falling around when you pay the quarterback. This is what happens. And I'll say this. Oh, my God. And I know, look, like everyone, you got to pay him. You better be right. If you're not right, everyone's gone. Now, they drafted the kid from Florida, Ricky Pearsall. We will see if he can be good. We'll find out. I didn't love the way Brandon Aiyuk has handled his business the entire offseason. I understand his point of view. I understand everyone's frustration. I also understand that the Niners are kind of a victim of their own success because they have a lot of guys making a lot of money, and they're really good players. Now, they've spent poorly in some areas. You know, we can look at the Javon Hargrave deal, and I'm seeing Javon Hargrave, I'm sorry, like that was a bad signing. Like just financially, given that you knew this was coming down the pipe. Yep. But this is the first domino because they physically can't afford everyone on the team. And in a perfect world, I want to keep Aiyuk. Everyone wants to keep Aiyuk. In a perfect world, I would try to figure it out with both wide receivers and keep Debo and Aiyuk long-term and add Ricky Pearsall. But that's not real. This is what happens when you're gearing up to pay the quarterback $50 to $60 million. Ask the Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott. Amari Cooper's been gone. They got rid of the running back, Zeke Elliott. They've allowed certain offensive linemen to retire, and their money goes washing away. Look at what's happened with Buffalo the last couple of years as they bid adieu to still very productive Stephon Diggs. Look around the league, people. Open your eyes. You got to get cheaper at the wide receiver skill position if you're going to pay the quarterback $60 million.
Which is
and
crazy.
If you're going to have a $20 million left tackle, and you're going to have a $20 million running back, and another wide receiver make it 20. Not everyone can get the bag with this team.
But you know what's crazy is that these quarterbacks do need these top flight wide receivers. They need playmakers in today's game and age, today's day and age. Brandon Aiyuk. Now, look, they don't have to trade him. They could just sit. The Niners could sit here. They have the leverage. They could just fine him every single day. Now, if he ever comes back, they'll say, hey, the fines, let bygones be bygones. You don't have to pay any fines or whatnot. But they do have the leverage in this sense. He is under contract for $14 million this season, 14.1. If he does play on it and he becomes an unrestricted free agent, then the Niners can say, well, we're going to franchise tag you. So they do have the leverage here. They don't have to do anything right now. This is kind of a Hail Mary from Brandon Aiyuk to say, I want my money. If you don't want to pay me my money, send me out. The timing's weird because you're a week out from training camp. When Debo requested his trade for the 49ers, it happened before the NFL draft. Now the draft is over. And if you're the 49ers, you're thinking, do we just trade Brandon Aiyuk for a pick? Or do you trade him for a player? Like, what if Washington really wants him, right? What if the Commanders? Now I'm thinking about the Commanders and Adam Peters and all the conversations and all the buddy-buddy with Jaden Daniels coming out of LSU who played with them at Arizona State. What if they just say, all right, we'll flip you Terry McLaurin for Brandon Aiyuk?
I'd do it in a heartbeat.
I'd probably do it in a heartbeat, too. I'd do it in a heartbeat, too. If Brandon Aiyuk doesn't want to play here in this situation, because now I'm ticked off with Aiyuk. I'm a big Aiyuk guy, but now I'm a little ticked off now.
Why?
You don't pull this a week before training camp. But we're getting ready for a Super Bowl run here.
Yeah, but I'm glad you're bringing this up because to me, like, look, I want Aiyuk in a perfect world, and I understand. Like you talk about all the time, the players have to maximize their money. I get that, and I'm a Niner fan though. So let's go back. 2019, you lose the Super Bowl. What happens in that offseason? Well, hello, COVID. It was crazy. You couldn't practice, okay? And then there was this whole thing with, should we keep Jimmy? Should we go to Tom Brady? Tom Brady's a free agent. So there was that whole drama, and you didn't practice leading up to 2020. Yep. Then after the 2020 season, where you get basically sent down to Arizona, you have an entire offseason of Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance. They trade up. Yep. They're going to draft Trey Lance. This whole, are they going to bring him back? What are they going to do? Oh, they're going to keep all of them. That was its own drama.
Well, also, don't forget, Javon Kinlaw, your first-round pick. When you traded DeForest Buckner, you're bringing Kinlaw, but Kinlaw can't come in to the camp because Chris Kosar can't get his hands on him. So now he's behind the 8 ball as well. Don't forget about him.
It just seems like every offseason there's something. Then after the Jimmy Garoppolo 2021 season where you lose to the Rams, he hurts his shoulder, and he's like stuck in limbo. And you're going to hand the team to Trey Lance, and Jimmy's like sticking around. He had this whole offseason of, well, it's Trey's team. But over there, Jimmy's throwing on the baby field. And then the next year, Trey Lance is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Brock Purdy hurts his elbow. Like every single offseason, it's something.
Sam Darnold.
Nick Bosa last year, which was the same year of is Purdy's elbow going to be fine? The Niners are so wildly successful. They have so many players that they have to pay, yet it seems like every offseason is a circus.
But you know what? It's a testament to who Shanahan is and John Lynch, because despite the circus act all around this team, despite everything, they still win a lot of football games, and they still get deep into the playoffs. You go to 4 NFC championship games, you know what I'm saying? In the last 5 years, you know how to minimize the noise. You know how to keep the noise out of the locker room. So that's pretty good.
But one thing that I've heard, Kyle Juszczyk on with Matt Mayock, and he was talking about this. He's like, hey, look, every offseason has been something. Yeah. And we kind of wanted a quiet offseason heading into this year because there's always stuff on the quarterback, at least the last 4 or 5 years. And then there's always somebody on the team who's frustrated with their money. Debo Samuel a couple of years ago, Nick Bosa a year ago, like Kittle multiple years ago, Fred Warner, and they weren't as egregious as where Brandon Aiyuk's at, but guys were like, we wanted to be full go. You know why? Because this is the last year for the whole quarter to be together because you're going to pay Purdy.
So this is crazy because now I'm just looking at the receiver doc, and now you're tight with Debo. They walk into the games together, but you have your clicks with the 49ers. And I wonder just how clicking they are with Brandon Aiyuk. Like you see him talking a little bit to George Kittle, but how much do they rock with George Kittle? Does this one kind of turn this team off where Brandon Aiyuk saying, yeah, I want my money, and everybody else is saying, man, can we just can you do this? Can you do that? And I understand, trust me, I'm pro Brandon Aiyuk in this sense. You got to get paid when it's time to get paid. You got to get your bag. You have to, because there's no guarantee. We just watched the receiver, Doc. These guys are getting hit left and right. What if he does go out there and get injured? What if he does go out there and tear an ACL? Now he's not getting that quote unquote generational wealth that he's seeking right now. So I get that. But part of today's show, it's very interesting this breaks, because part of the show was, okay, Brandon Aiyuk doesn't want to come to camp. My position today was going to be, Shasky.
What's that?
You know what? We hear all the time about Shanahan being a genius and Shanahan scheming everybody wide open. Now I was intrigued to see this team perform without Brandon Aiyuk, because I want to see how good Purdy is. To your point about paying him $60 million a year, if I'm going to pay a quarterback $60 million a year, then he should be fine with Debo, Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey, and then bringing along Ricky Pearsall with the mind and the brain of Kyle Shanahan constructing and diagramming these football plays, Shasky. So in a sense, I was saying, if I'm going to pay this guy $60 million a year, let me see some adversity with Brock Purdy, see what he does without one of these main core guys.
Bonte, my setting has been with the Niners heading into this year, save me. Like, you're the only thing that can save me from the Bay Area sports purgatory right now. The Warriors are kind of in limbo. The Giants have been boring as hell, and I've been begging for the Niners to win a damn Super Bowl. They've been so good and so close, and they're the one thing that is salvaging my sports brain in the Bay Area right now.
We do have Joe Lacob out too. We'll get to that. We'll get to all that.
But
no
I'm
doubt
telling
about
you,
it.
like, this Aiyuk thing has been bugging me for a while. When Debo was doing what he was doing, at the end of the day, when camp opened up, he was there.
He was there.
And he was dressed on the sideline in street clothes. And I walked by him, and he looked a little big for his standards. Yep, I walked by him, and I was like, look, he's here. You know what I mean? Like, he's shown his face. I didn't like that post that was out. Remember, I told you, I did not like that he wasn't with everyone. Like, we get it. You're going to get your money, dude. But show up and be a team player.
And I feel like you lost a little love for Bosa.
I did.
Because not only did he hold out, which, you know what,
it was the way it went down.
But no, my problem with Bosa, I said, look, you can hold out all you want to. You go get your money. I understand you want to go get your money. You've had a torn ACL. You missed college football because you got hurt. You tore your ACL in high school. I get all that. You need to go get paid. She stuck the Niners for like $20 extra million. All right? But what turned me off of Bosa last season was when we get to the bye week and you're talking about, yeah, I think missing training camp contributed to the slow start. I've been just working on stuff. I've been experimenting. Then you're throwing the defensive coordinator under the bus. I'm like, oh, wait, hold on a minute. Hold on. We made you the highest paid defensive player of all time. Now you're making excuses, and he made excuses all season long. So that's why when it comes to Nick Bosa, and we see him next week in training camp, I better see 15 to 20 sacks this year. I don't want to hear a peep about anything.
Here's what I don't understand from like the Niners' point of view, and I would like more clarity on this before I just crush them. Why was the CMC extension so quiet and behind the scenes and so easy to execute? I mean, I know that the money is significantly less when it comes to the guarantees, but it felt like, hey, quietly, hey, CMC, we're gonna prioritize you. We're gonna give you your money. And we're going to get this done. No one will know anything. We're just going to announce it. But yet this Aiyuk thing has been so public, yet I feel like they've been staring this down the barrel for almost 2 years.
Well, to keep hearing from Ayuk's camp, though, that they were at the 1 yard line. They were inside the 5. They're getting ready to sign, seal, and deliver, and then something happened. I don't know. That's what we don't know. We don't know what the holdup is.
It feels like they were trying to trade him on the draft.
No, they weren't. And you know what? I think they overplayed their hand.
They weren't.
No, they definitely took calls.
Exactly.
And they took calls on Debo Samuel, which they admitted that Debo, hey, let's talk to the New York Jets. Maybe we will trade. John Lynch has said over and over and over, our phone lines are always open. We're always looking to get better. He said that. He said it, not us. And so I do believe they tried to trade Brandon Aiyuk, and probably they asked for too much for Brandon Aiyuk. Went to your point about all these receivers coming out. Other teams like, you know what? With the cap and the whole quarterback room and the way we got to reset our clocks, you know what? We're going to pass on Aiyuk. We're going to keep our picks and draft one of these stud wide receivers in college and develop them and hope they turn into Debo Samuel or Brandon Aiyuk. But the timing here, and Tim Kawakami has a good tweet, and I do subscribe to this. Tim Kawakami of The Athletic. My read is that Ayuk's move is largely to indicate to the 49ers that he's not reported at camp unless he gets a new deal. They can't expect him to play for $14 million. They probably knew that, but this step is to underline the position. It's a negotiation, and that's what this is. It's a negotiation. So, you know what?
Here's what I would say.
This is where we're at right now. I'm not betting
But he's not the only guy in a final year of a deal. This is where I take some umbrage here. And you can say, Joe, well, Charvarius got paid. Yeah, Charvarius also wasn't a first-round pick with guaranteed money when he signed with the 49ers as a free agent. He actually, as a seventh-rounder or undrafted from Kansas City, whatever it was, his money was totally different. Charvarius Ward's in the final year of a deal. Deommodore Lenoir's in the final year of a deal. Basically, Dre Greenlaw is essentially in the final year of a deal. He is not the only guy on this roster who wants to get an extension. So you're getting $15 million on the guaranteed deal. It's very difficult for me to have major empathy, and I understand the business tactic of it. But I'm with the Niners on this one, and I'm saying, dog, we got $15 million staring you in the face. Well, we can't give you this extension because we don't have the money.
But you know what though? He saw all these wide receivers getting paid, and I did mention on the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark. He mentioned this. They tried to get a deal done right after the Super Bowl. They tried to get a deal done quickly. It didn't work out. And it would have behooved the Niners to get that deal done quickly because all of a sudden now, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Jalen Waddle, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
But he's not.
Justin Jefferson.
He's not as good as Justin Jefferson.
He's better than Jalen Waddle. I think I would take him over Devontae Smith.
But just because they overpaid for Jalen Waddle doesn't mean that I do that for here.
But Shasky, it's not about that. The point is that the Niners sat there and said, you know what, we're going to wait on this. They didn't expect the wide receiver market to explode the way it did in the offseason, and it did. So now if you're Brandon Aiyuk, you always talk about it, right? Stocks. You got to react to new information. The stock market, blah, 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 blah. Well, the stock market in the NFL wide receiver market, it went up in a major way.
But if I'm looking at my portfolio, on this team, running back, left tackle, and quarterback are more important than Brandon Aiyuk. At minimum, and I might even make an argument that George Kittle could be equally as important, if not more important than Brandon Aiyuk. So I'm not giving the fifth most important guy on my offense number one money.
So you think he's the fifth most important player?
Currently, on the way they play football.
So that's why my position today was go ahead and trade Brandon Aiyuk. I want to see how good this offense is without Brandon Aiyuk. Now I want to see it.
I want
to see him average 30 points a game without Brandon Aiyuk.
They moved the ball with Lewis Murphy, for Christ's sake, 6 years ago. They've moved the ball with random wide receivers.
Did they score touchdowns?
What?
Did they score touchdowns?
No, but he had one elite season. He's a good player. I don't want to make it sound like he's not a scrub. He's not some weak player. He is a really, really good player. But to pretend that he's some game-changing X-Factor Justin Jefferson $30 million a year wide receiver, that's a stretch to me.
Jalen Waddle got paid big boy money.
I don't think that's good money spent.
Yeah, Devontae Smith got paid big boy money. So in that sense, in your lane, in your wide receiver market, and you're Brandon Aiyuk, and you're saying, wait, these guys are getting paid more than me? I'm equally as impactful as these guys that are getting paid more than me right now. So now I'm going to sit back and go get my value. It's the stock market, right? Hey, what did Jeff Fat Joe say? Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Let me ask you, do you think, on the real, do you truly believe that the Jalen Waddle money that you're referencing, do you think that's good money spent?
Absolutely. For Miami, absolutely. He's a game changer.
They just lost Christian Watkins because of that.
But you know what, though? Without Jalen Waddle, that offense went down the drain.
Well, it did.
When he's rolling, it opens up everything for Tyreek Hill. And all of a sudden, when Tyreek Hill is cooking and he's getting doubled, then you got Jalen Waddle on the other side.
I would argue that in that particular scheme, if I gave them Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams as opposed to paying Jalen Waddle, I think that they're making the same decision that the Niners are making is I'll take the left tackle and the running back.
So now, here we go now, though. Okay, now you got Christian McCaffrey, right? Because I think the thing with Debo and Aiyuk and having Kittle, you could try to play 8 in the box against the 49ers, try to stuff the run game. You're going to get beat over the top. How do defenses now play the 49ers if you don't have a Brandon Aiyuk and you got Ricky Pearsall, who struggled in college getting off a press man? He's got to work on that. Katie get off a press man. Are they better without Brandon Aiyuk right now? And then the whole thing with the fans, now, by Brandon Aiyuk coming out and doing this, no matter what he does,
a bad look.
Now the fans are going to turn on him.
You're right.
And I see it. All the fans are going to say, you could have played for $14 million because they think we're all equal. And, oh, man, you got $14 million. I'm out here nickel and diamond every day working the 9 to 5. So now all of a sudden, just like with Deebo Samuel, it took a long time for the fans to get back on the wagon with Deebo Samuel. Remember that?
No doubt.
A lot of people were down and out on Deebo Samuel because of the way he handled his negotiations.
I fell back in love with Deebo and Kittle watching the receiver doc.
And I wasn't, I
did. I fell back in love with those guys. I'm going to be real with you. I was kind of down on both of those guys. And then I watched the receiver doc and I'm here for it. And so the thing I keep coming back to, B, and I look, everyone can agree they're a better football team with Brandon Aiyuk. There's not one person on the planet who's like, well, the Niners are better today without Brandon Aiyuk. We all agree, right? We're all on the same page.
I would hope so.
Okay. The question, and this is why it's such a compelling one. He's good. How good is he? Well, he's good. How much do you prioritize him versus other players that you've paid great money to?
Well, I tell you how good he is. The NFL told me that he was second team All-Pro.
Okay.
That's how good he is, Shasky.
On this
second
offense, if I said to you, Bonte, you have an open draft just for the Niners. Give me where you're taking Brandon Aiyuk on the Niners open draft right now. Because in my head, I know that,
or linemen, everybody
anywhere on the team.
So I go Christian McCaffrey number 1.
I think everyone does.
I have to go Trent Williams number 2.
I think everyone
tackle.
does.
I got to go Brock Purdy number 3. He's the quarterback.
Okay,
and then we get to the skill position guys.
What about Bosa?
I'm just talking offense.
Oh, well,
I thought you said offense. I thought you said offense.
I'm going full team.
I used the top 10 player on this offense.
Oh, okay.
I mean, on this team.
But if I give him $28 million, he's the number 1 highest paid player for this year.
That's
and
fine.
He's probably number 2 moving forward.
Is Debo worth the $28 million? Is he worth the money that he's getting paid right now? And what he does? We just watched Debo Samuel in the Super Bowl fail to get off a press man. Get hurt, and he's an injury liability. And I love Debo.
Dismantled Philly.
Yeah, but I love Debo.
He dragged this team through the playoffs in 2021
but he,
with the garbage carcass of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Stop it.
He willed them through the Packers.
That was 3 years ago. I'm talking about today. I'm talking about today.
Debo Samuel had an all-time season.
Debo got hurt in the Green Bay game. Debo got hurt in the Green Bay game, and he got hurt in the Super Bowl. 2 of our 3 games in the postseason. Debo wasn't even available. He wasn't even available by the end of the season. 2021, he was barely available.
And I love Aiyuk.
Oh, my God.
But Debo is a more accomplished player.
Here
we kidding me?
Here we go, underrating Brandon Aiyuk again.
He's good.
Oh, my God.
Debo had a signature season that was up there with Jerry Rice.
2021.
I'm telling you, man.
Last year, he couldn't make it out of 2 of the 3 playoff games.
If I'm going to war, moving forward, and this...
You're going to go to war and get 12 games out of Debo.
No, but I know the 12 games I'm getting, he's running through souls.
He wasn't even available in the Super Bowl. When it was all said and done, he's on a knee in the third quarter. I put an entire script
around Debo Samuel getting 15 targets. Aiyuk doesn't have that in the bag.
What?
He's not that guy.
What?
Justin Jefferson is that guy.
Oh,
Devontae Adams is that guy. Aiyuk is just a tick below.
Okay, that's fine.
He's really, really good.
But Jalen Waddle and Devontae got all those guys.
I'm telling you, man.
You know what? Look, I hope the 49ers do trade Brandon Aiyuk because I said this before in our show meeting. I asked these guys, honestly, I want to see how good Brock Purdy is without Brandon Aiyuk.
I want to see how good Aiyuk is with the Raiders. Let's see what he does with the Raiders.
If he goes to the Raiders with Devontae Adams. If he's played off of Devontae Adams, see one-on-one coverage, he's cooking.
Let's see what he does with a garbage quarterback who's coming from LSU.
He goes to the Raiders with Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers and Meyer. He is cooking. Are you kidding me? We're going to regret the day we trade Brandon Aiyuk. I guarantee you that. We're going to regret the day. I watched his team fail a first-round receiver after first-round receiver year after year after year. We finally get one, and we want to get rid of his ass.
No.
All right, fine.
We're
get rid of him. Let's see how Brock Purdy is. Let's see how good Brock Purdy is after